Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur, where today we are talking all about the Singapore Grand Prix. Who won? Who crashed? How many red flags were there? Who was the driver of the day? Who was crowned constructors? No surprise there, but they were crowned. Let's get into it, shall we? So let's start off with Formula One Academy and the practice session. So in 18th we have Ferreira, who only had one lap before she had a DNF due to a problem with the car. In 17th we have Bruce, who is in replacement for Anna Stagniadis, who fractured her foot, and she did 9 laps. In 16th we have Seconte with 15 laps. In 15th we have Larson with 18 laps. In 14th we have Block with 16 laps. In 13th we have Crone with 15 laps. In 12th we have Havrada with 15 laps. In 11th we have Chong with 15 laps. In 10th we have Felbermeyer with 15 laps. In 9th we have Gaidman with 13 laps. In 8th we have Hausman with 15 laps. In 7th we have Nobles with 16 laps. In 6th we have Billard, who had 15 laps. In 5th we have Lloyd with 15 laps. In 4th we have Chambers with 16 laps. In 3rd we have Palmowski with 15 laps. In 2nd we have Verg with 15 laps. And in 1st we have Pa with 14 laps. So let's talk about the sprint qualifying race. Where did they start before the race actually started? So in 18th we had Palmowski, who unfortunately had a DNF very near the beginning of the race. She broke her suspension when she hit a wall. In 17th we had Havrada. In 16th we had Crone. In 15th we had Bruce. In 14th we had Ferreira. In 13th we had Hausman. In 12th we had Seconte. In 11th we had Gaidman. In 10th we had Chong. In 9th we had Larson. In 8th we had Verg. In 7th we had Pa. In 6th we had Chambers. In 5th we had Lloyd. In 4th we had Billard. In 3rd we had Felbermeyer. In 2nd we had Nobles. And in 1st we had Block. So now let's talk about the Formula One Academy sprint. How did that go? Well, in 18th we had Havrada, who had a DNF. Not really sure what happened there, but she did, and she dropped 1 position. In 17th we had Palmowski, who once again had a DNF. It was not a good weekend for her, unfortunately, from qualifying onto the sprint, but she did gain 1 position. In 16th it was Billard, who also had, at the same time as Palmowski, a DNF. Her engine just stopped working and did catch on fire, whereas Palmowski hit the wall. She lost 11 places. In 15th we have Ferreira, who dropped 1 position. She also had a DNF. Her car stopped working. In 14th we had Larson, who dropped 5 positions. In 13th we have Crone, who gained 3 positions. In 12th we have Bruce, who gained 3 positions. In 11th we have Seconte, who gained 1 position. In 10th we have Hausman, who gained 3 positions. In 9th we have Chong, who gained 1 position. In 8th we have Gaidman, who gained 3 positions. In 7th we have Lloyd, who dropped 2 positions. He had a 5-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. This was at the very first turn of the very first lap, because she didn't give it back in time. Then in the 6th we have Felbermeyer, who dropped 3 places. In 5th we have Pa, who gained 2 places. In 4th we have Nobles, who dropped 2 places. In 3rd we have Chambers, who gained 3 positions. And then in 2nd we have Verg, who gained 6 positions. And in 1st we have Block, who stayed where she was and won her first ever Formula One Academy race. So in 18th place in qualifying overall was Palmowski, who, as I said, had the DNF, and she dropped 15 positions from where she was in the practice session. In 17th we have Havrada, who dropped 5 positions. In 16th we had Crone, who dropped 3 positions. In 15th we had Bruce, who gained 2 positions. In 14th we had Ferreira, who gained 4 positions. In 13th we had Hausman, who dropped 5 positions. In 12th we had Seconte, who gained 4 positions. In 11th we had Gaidman, who dropped 2 positions. In 10th we had Chong, who gained 1 position. In 9th we had Larson, who gained 6 positions. In 8th we had Block, who gained 6 positions. In 7th we had Nobles, who stayed where she was. In 6th we had Felbermeyer, who gained 4 positions. In 5th we had Billard, who gained 1 position. In 4th we had Lloyd, who gained 1 position. In 3rd we had Chambers, who gained 1 position. In 2nd we had Power, who dropped 1 position. And in 1st we had Verg, who gained 1 position. And now we go to the second race for F1 Academy, where in 18th position it was Havrida, who was the only one to actually crash in the race. She lost 1 position in 18th, and then in 17th we had Block, who lost control of her car, spun, and as a result dropped many places and ended up in 17th. She dropped 9 positions. In 16th we've got Billard, who dropped 11 places. I don't know what happened there, but her car was just not having it at that point. And then in 15th we have Palmovsky, who gained 3 positions. And then in 14th we have Hausman, who dropped 1 position. In 13th we have Bruce, who gained 2 positions. In 12th we have Nobles, who lost 5 positions. In 11th we have Chambers, who lost 8 positions. In 10th we have Crone, who gained 6 positions. In 9th we have Ferreira, who gained 5 positions. In 8th we have Seconte, who gained 4 positions. In 7th we've got Chong, who gained 3 positions. In 6th we have Gaidman, who gained 5 positions. In 5th we have Larson, who gained 4 positions. In 4th we have Feldbermeyer, who gained 2 positions. In 3rd we have Lloyd, who gained 1 position. In 2nd we have Power, who led most of the race until Verg overtook her and got 1st place back. So in 2nd we have Power, and in 1st we have Verg. And now let's go into the results overall, the standings for the drivers and the teams in the penultimate F1 Academy race weekend. So in terms of the drivers, the standings look like this. So Power is still in the lead with 151 points, followed by Verg with 142. That's a 9 points difference. Then Lloyd in 3rd with 101. That's a 41 points difference to Verg. In 4th we have Chambers, who is on 99 points. That's a 2 points difference to Lloyd. In 5th we have Palmovsky, who's on 73. That's a 26 points difference to Chambers. In 6th we have Gaidman with 60 points. That's a 13 points difference to Palmovsky. In 7th we have Larson with 58 points. That's a 2 points difference to Gaidman. In 8th we have Hausman with 46 points. That's 12 points difference to Larson. In 9th we have Felbermeyer with 37 points. That's a 9 points difference to Hausman. In 10th we have Block with 33 points. That's a 4 points difference to Felbermeyer. In 11th we have Chong with 18 points. That's a 15 points difference to Block. In 13th we have Ferreira with 15 points. That's a 3 points difference to Chong. In 13th we have Nobles with 10 points. That's a 5 points difference to Ferreira. In 14th we have Seconte with 8 points. That's a 2 points difference to Nobles. In 15th we have Kosterman, who is the only wildcard entry to score points, and she has 6 points. That's a 2 points difference to Seconte. Then in 16th we have Anastagniadis with 5 points. That's a 1 points difference to Kosterman. In 17th we have Crone, who scored her first point, and that's a 4 points difference to Anastagniadis. And then Havrida has 1 point. That's no points difference to Crone. And then Pats, Bruce, Dobson, Way, Al Yusuf and Billard are all on 0 points respectively. And then in terms of teams, there are 5 teams in F1 Academy, and Prima Racing is leading the way with 257 points. MP Motorsport follows by 49 points difference with 208 points. And then Campos Racing in 3rd with 187 points. That's a 21 points difference. And then Roden Motorsport with 156 points. That's a 31 points difference. And then Art Grand Prix with 44 points. That's 112 points difference to Roden. And then High Tech TGR with 12 points. That's a 32 points difference to Art Grand Prix. So now let's move on to Formula 1. So let's now talk about Formula 1 and FP1. So in 20th we had Albon, who only managed 2 laps before he had a brake fire and could not continue. Then in 19th we had Colapinto with 26 laps. In 18th we had Stroll with 18 laps. In 17th we had Bortoleto with 27 laps. In 16th we had Behrman with 25 laps. In 15th we had Lawson with 27 laps. In 14th we had Antonelli with 24 laps. In 13th we had Gasly with 26 laps. In 12th we had Hulkenberg with 29 laps. In 11th we we had Russell with 22 laps. In 10th, we had Ocon with 24 laps. In 9th, we had Tsunoda with 25 laps. In 8th, we had Sainz with 27 laps. In 7th, we had Hadjar with 28 laps. In 6th, we had Norris with 22 laps. In 5th, we had Piastri with 25 laps. In 4th, we had Hamilton with 23 laps. In 3rd, we had Verstappen with 24 laps. In 2nd, we had Leclerc with 25 laps. And in 1st, we had Alonso, which was a very surprising, but positively surprising, with 23 laps. So now let's get on to the FP2 session. So on to FP2 then, and in 20th position we had Russell, who managed 6 laps before he crashed, and as a result he dropped 9 positions. In 19th we had Colapinto with 20 laps, he stayed where he was. In 18th we had Antonelli with 18 laps, he dropped 4 positions. In 17th we have Lawson, who had 10 laps before he crashed, and then so that was a second red flag. The first one was with Russell, so he dropped 2 positions. In 16th we had Gasly with 20 laps, he dropped 3 positions. In 15th we had Bortoleto with 19 laps, he gained 2 positions. In 14th we had Hulkenberg with 19 laps, he dropped 2 positions. In 13th we had Albon with 19 laps, he gained 7 positions. In 12th we had Behrman with 18 laps, he gained 4 positions. In 11th we had Tsunoda with 18 laps, he dropped 2 positions. In 10th we had Hamilton with 17 laps, he dropped 6 positions. In 9th we had Leclerc with 18 laps, he dropped 7 positions. In 8th we had Sainz with 20 laps and he stayed where he was. In 7th we had Ocon with 19 laps, he gained 3 positions. In 6th we had Stroll with 18 laps, he gained 12 positions. In 5th we have Norris with 18 laps, he gained 1 position. In 4th we had Alonso with 19 laps, he dropped 3 positions. In 3rd we have Verstappen with 19 laps, he stayed where he was. In 2nd we had Hadjar with 19 laps, he gained 5 positions. And in 1st we had Piastri with 19 laps and he gained 4 positions. And now FP3, where we only had 1 red flag. So this was as it was. In 20th we had Lawson, who was the cause of the red flag. He did 7 laps before he crashed and dropped an additional 3 positions. In 19th we had Gasly, who did 22 laps and dropped 3 positions. In 18th we had Tsunoda with 24 laps, he dropped 6 positions. In 17th we had Stroll with 23 laps, he dropped 11 positions. In 16th we had Colapinto with 22 laps, he gained 3 positions. In 15th we had Alonso with 21 laps, he dropped 11 positions. In the 14th we had Behrman with 24 laps, he dropped 2 positions. In 13th we had Ocon with 23 laps, he dropped 6 positions. In 12th we had Bortoleto with 24 laps, he gained 3 positions. In 11th we had Albon with 23 laps, he gained 2 positions. In 10th we had Leclerc with 22 laps, he dropped 1 position. In 9th we had Hulkenberg with 22 laps, he gained 5 positions. In 8th we had Hamilton with 22 laps, he gained 2 positions. In 7th we had Hadjar with 24 laps, he dropped 5 positions. In 6th we had Sainz with 22 laps, he gained 2 positions. In 5th we had Norris with 25 laps, he stayed where he was. In 4th we had Antonelli with 18 laps, he gained 14 positions. In 13th we had Russell, who had 17 laps, he gained 17 positions. In 12th we had Piastri with 25 laps, he dropped 1 position. And in 1st we had Verstappen with 15 laps, he gained 2 positions. On to quali now, where we had only a yellow flag, as it was Gasly, who just lost all power and possibility in the car. He was in 20th and dropped 1 position. In 19th we had Ocon, who dropped 6 positions. In 18th we had Colapinto, who dropped 2 positions. In 17th we had Stroll, who stayed where he was. In 16th we had Bortoleto, who dropped another 4 positions. In 15th we had Tsunoda, who gained 3 positions. In 14th we had Lawson, who gained 6 positions. In 13th we had Sainz, who dropped 7 positions, but will start either 19th or 20th, as both Williams boys were disqualified due to a regulation problem with the flexibility of their wings. So Albon, although he qualified 12th and lost 1 position, he will also be either 19th or 20th. And then in 11th we have Hulkenberg, who lost 2 positions. In 10th we have Alonso, who gained 5 positions. In 9th we have Behrman, who gained 5 positions. In 8th we have Hadjar, who dropped 1 position. In 7th we have Leclerc, who gained 3 positions. In 6th we have Hamilton, who gained 2 positions. In 5th we have Norris, who stayed where he was. In 4th we have Antonelli, who stayed where he was. In third, we have Piastri, who dropped 1 position. In second, we have Verstappen, who dropped 1 position. And in first, we have Russell, who gained 2 positions. So he went a long way from where he was in FP2, where he crashed. So now let's talk about the race. So the race for Formula 1 looks like this. In 20th, we have Hulkenberg, who dropped 9 positions. He had a spin and could not recover from that. He did finish the race. There were no crashes, surprisingly, this time, but he did have a spin. In 19th position, we have Gasly, who started from the pit lane and gained 1 position from where he qualified. In 18th, we have Ocon, who gained 1 position. In 17th, we have Bortoleto with 1 position lost. And then in 16th, we have Colapinto, who gained 2 positions. In 15th, we have Lawson, who lost 1 position. In 14th, we have Albon, who lost 2 positions from where he qualified, but overall gained 6 positions to where he started, as he started from the pit lane alongside Gasly. And then with the 13th position, it's Stroll, who gained 4 positions. In 12th, we have Tsunoda, who gained 3 positions. In 11th, we have Hadjar, who dropped 3 positions. In 10th, we have Sainz, who gained 3 positions from where he qualified, but overall gained 8 positions because of where he started. He started last on the grid. And then in 9th, we have Behrman, who stayed where he was. And then in 8th, we have Hamilton, who finished the race in 7th, but received a 5-second penalty because of a track limit as a result of the fact that he lost slight control of the car as his brakes just stopped working. So the 7th position was inherited to Alonso, who overall gained 3 positions from where he qualified. And then in 6th, we have Leclerc, who gained 1 position. In 5th, we have Antonelli, who dropped 1 position. In 4th, we have Piastri, who lost 1 position. In 3rd, we have Norris, who gained 2 positions. In 2nd, we have Verstappen, who stayed where he was. And in 1st, we have Russell, who also stayed where he was. And the driver of the day was Alonso, because although he started 10th and finished 7th, he was all over the shop in terms of the grid throughout the whole race. He had a terrible pit stop, 9-second pit stop that should be about 2 seconds instead, but they could not get one of the nuts on the wheel to secure, and he was very angry, saying things like award the trophy to the hero of the year of the race, and he asked his engineer to stop talking to him every lap, or otherwise he will disconnect the radio. So he was not a happy bunny, but at least he ended up in the points this time. And now let's go into the standings, where we finally crown the constructors. So now we can solely focus on the Drivers' Championship. So as I mentioned, Alonso was awarded the Driver of the Day for his persistence and determination to gain points regardless of how difficult a situation gets. But in terms of the driver standings, so Piastri is on 336 points, leading the championship still, followed by Norris with 314 points. That's a 22 points difference to Piastri. In third, we have Verstappen, who has 273 points. That's a 41 points difference to Norris. In fourth, we have Russell with 237 points. That's a 36 points difference to Verstappen. In fifth, we have Leclerc with 173 points. That's a 64 points difference to Russell. In sixth, we have Hamilton with 125. He would have had 127 had it not been for that 5-second penalty. And as a result, that's a 48 points difference to Leclerc. In seventh, we have Antonelli with 88 points. That's a 37 points difference to Hamilton. In eighth, we have Albon with 70 points. That's a 18 points difference to Antonelli. In ninth, we have Hadjar with 39 points. That's a 31 points difference to Albon. In 10th, we have Hulkenberg with 37 points. That's a 2 points difference to Hadjar. In 11th, we have Alonso with 36 points. Would have been 34 if it hadn't been for those breaks of Hamilton. So because of that, he gained 2 points extra. So that's a 1 point difference to Hulkenberg. In 12th we have Sainz with 32 points. It gained 1 point throughout the race, so that unicorn is still performing its magic, and that's a 4 points difference to Alonso. In 13th we have Stroll with 32 points. That's a 0 points difference to Sainz. In 14th we have Lawson with 30 points. That's a 2 points difference to Stroll. In 15th we have Ocon with 28 points. That's a 2 points difference to Lawson. In 16th we have Gasly with 20 points. That's an 8 points difference to Ocon. In 17th we have Tsunoda with 20 points. That's no points difference to Gasly. In 18th we have Bortoleto with 18 points. That's a 2 points difference to Tsunoda. In 19th we have Behrman with 18 points. 0 points difference to Bortoleto. And then, as per usual, Colapinto in 20th with 0 points. So that's an 18 points difference to Behrman. And Doohan still not on the track. 0 points, no points difference to Colapinto. And then in terms of teams, in first place we have McLaren with 650 points, and they were finally crowned the constructors, and this is the first time since 1991 where they have become back-to-back winners. So in 1988 to 1991 they were dominant and they would win every single constructors championship. Well, now this has happened again, so they won in 2024, they won in 2025. There's still 6 races to go, so that it is more than likely that they would have more points on the scoreboard than they did when they finished last year's season, where they had 666 points, as they are only 16 points away, and there are 6 races and they are very fast. And then in second we have Mercedes, who are 325 points, and that's 325 points exactly less than McLaren. And then Ferrari are on 298 points, would have been 300 points, and that's a 27 points difference to Mercedes. And then in fourth we have Red Bull Racing with 290 points, that's an 8 points difference to Ferrari. In fifth we have Williams with 102 points, that's 188 points difference to Red Bull. In sixth we have Racing Bulls with 72 points, that's a 30 points difference to Williams. In seventh we have Aston Martin with 68 points, that would have been 66, but because of Alonso's inheritance of Hamilton's place, that's an extra 2 points on the board, and that's a 4 points difference to Racing Bulls. In 8th we have Kick Sauber with 55 points, that's a 13 points difference to Aston Martin. In 9th we have Haas with 46 points, that's a 9 points difference to Kick Sauber. And in 10th, I can't remember the last time Alpine gained any points, but they are still on 20, and that's a 26 points difference to Haas. And that was the Singapore Grand Prix. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Formula Amateur. There will be no race rundown next Monday, as there is no race, but the Monday after there will be, as then we'll be there for the COTA Grand Prix, the Austin, Texas Grand Prix, the United States Grand Prix, even though the United States has 3 Grand Prix, but that's what it is. So be on the lookout for that in 2 Mondays' time. There'll be another episode of Formula Amateur on Saturday, as per usual, where we'll be talking all about the history of the Constructors' Championship, who has won it each year since the Constructors' Championship was first announced. So be on the lookout for that on Saturday, and don't forget to check out my lovely colleagues on the Be The Change Media Network. Don't forget to check out the website BeTheChangeMediaNetwork.com, and the FormulaAmateur.com website is coming soon, as I have said lately, so be on the lookout for that. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you on Saturday. Goodbye.